Welcome back, everyone. We are going to continue working on our Sounds of Spring album, and this is page 2. It's got a little more flaps than page 1. So grab a piece of paper and pencil and write down these measurements, and then we'll start cutting them. So flap A is going to be 8 3/4 by 5. You will need 2 B flaps. Okay, so these are 7 7/8 by 4 7/16. So the 7 7/8 is 2 lines before 8, and the 4 7/16 is 1 less than 4 1/2. You need 2 C pockets, and these are 8 7/8 by 3. A D pocket is 8 7/8, which is 2 lines before 9 by 4 1/2. And E. These are inserts into those pockets, so that's 7 5/8 by 3 1/4. The 7 5/8 is 2 lines more than 7 1/2. Okay, so we are gonna put the 2 E's aside. They don't get any score lines or tape. And my score right here. Okay, so for the D, we're going to start score on 3 sides, because this is a pocket, with our opening being the widest side. So the 8 7/8 faces the top, and you just score 1/2 inch on 3 sides. The C's are also pockets, so the widest part is going to be our open part, and it gets 1/2 inch all the way around. Do that again. And B. B gets, these are left and right flaps, so they get 1/2 inch with the 4 7/16 facing the top. A. Now A is a top flap. It's going to hang over, and we want a gusset on there because it's got to come over top of all these pockets. So we're going to turn it where the 8 3/4 inside faces the top, and score 1/2 inch. Then don't take it out. Score 1/2 inch. Whoops, hope I didn't move there. Let me make sure. Okay, and then you want to scooch it in 1/4 inch, because we'll give us that little space that we need. So we're at 1/2 inch now. So now we're going to go over to 3/4 inch and give another score line. Okay, so you will have 2 score lines, and when you fold it, you wind up with this little space there, 1/4 inch. And that will help us get over all these pockets and flaps that we have. So let's get that taped. Okay, so for this A flap, just put 1 piece of tape at the very bottom, and don't go over that first score line or the second. You just go right at the bottom edge there. Okay. So for the B's, I already did this because I had to reshoot this. I made a mistake. So we got 2 B's with score tape right under the fold line. The C's, you've got tape on all 3 sides. And like we did on page 1, when you cut, you go up to that where those 2 score lines cross, kick it out a little bit, and then continue on. So you do that both sides and you get like a little bite taken out of your corner. So you do that for both of those. The D, same thing. You cut your corners. Okay, and your E's don't have any tape or score lines. All right, so when you're ready and you've got all that cut, we will start putting them on page 2. All right, so we've got our page 2 in the front. Make sure that we're facing the right direction. That's page 1. Here's page 2. We can take our A flap, and that's going to go right at the top. So I'm going to turn this over. Where's my little? Take off this tape backing. So if you have a gusset, you want to put this, and we're going to put this in the middle. You can either eyeball it or measure and put a little pencil mark right where the middle is. Let me do that. Ruler, where's my ruler? Here it is. Okay, so this is 8 inches, and we're going to put a little pencil mark right at 4 inches. Okay, and then I will put another pencil mark. This is 5, so I'm going to put it right at 2.5. That's how I can line it up left and right. So we want the flat, this gusset, to be right flush with the edge. So you just look at your sides, line that up. We've got our pencil mark. They're both lined up. And we will just put this down. And this flat gusset part will be right flush with the edge. Okay, there we go. And it comes down. Make sure it looks even. Right here, it's not quite laying even. So now is your time to straighten anything out that you want. And I didn't press hard, so this will lift off easy. If you don't have undo, this stuff is a miracle. It makes the tape a little less sticky temporarily, and then when it dries, it's sticky again. And I don't know if I've ever gotten through an entire project without using it at least once. So yeah, it's a miracle. I'm going to try this again. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this end right here and make sure that I'm going to hold it down a little. And I've got my 2 lines here. I'm in my light. Okay, so this is where it is, and I want to make sure this bottom is right to the edge, and then I'm going to lay this down. I think that will work better. Yep. Yep, that works better. Okay, now B flaps. Okay, those are going to be on the left and right. So let's put that. And we want to make sure this top of the B flap goes under this first score line that's at our 1/2 inch. There's a little bit of space at the bottom and a little bit at the top. Okay. Let's come over here to do the second B flap. teeny bit of space at the bottom, and I am under my crease line of flap A. So there we have that. Now the C pockets, or two little skinny pockets, are going to go underneath here. So let's take off the bottom of our first C flap. And then the side folds over and it sticks down with a little corner piece of that sticky tape. And I am going to, before I stick this down, I want to do my other one. Okay, so when I put these on, I'm just going to test it out here. Oopsie. I want to make sure the opening goes to the outside. So if I put this down, I want to make sure that I have enough room. Yes, and I will. So I am going to, this folded part is in the middle, okay? So I want to make this edge go before this first score line and right up to the end there. So there's just a little bit hanging on this side and a little bit more on the bottom there. And I will put that down. And then this one butts right up against it. That's why I had that crazy measurement. It had to fit just right. And this is going to line up this way and this way. I am sticking out just a hair, so hold on one second. It didn't really stick down too much, so that's why I'm glad I didn't take off the side tape, just the bottom. I want to look and make sure. Yeah, that one is in a little bit. So let me just push this out a little bit. What I would suggest, if it's not too late, just test this out first. But I'm going to put this first pocket maybe sticking out a little hair, the edge of this pocket. And then this goes right up against it. There we go. Yes, okay. Sorry if that gave anyone stress, but we only have the two pieces sticking down are right here and right here for now. So since we don't have to put any paper underneath, we can go ahead, like sometimes pockets you want to put design paper inside. We're not doing that right here, so we can go ahead and take these sides off. But I leave the tape on the sides just in case I have to move the pockets around a little bit. That is ready. These two E's are going to be going inside, so they would basically go inside like this. And you can see that they fit. You can decide if you want to round them a little or leave them the squared edges, but that's how that would go. And got a piece of little paper there. No, that's my white gel pen. All right, that goes up. These go to the side, and there's a pocket in the middle. Okay, so now this pocket goes right at the bottom and within these fold lines of your B flaps. Scooch this over a little. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now let's get our magnets down. All right, so for these flaps, I noticed the first time I made this book, this is going to be on the inside. So every time you turn, this kind of comes out. This one never does. So what I would do is I would put a magnet on here going to here. So it doesn't do that. So before you get started, let's do that. So I'm going to turn this over. This is in there nice and tight, and I am going to put a magnet right there. Actually, more towards the inside. I'm going to be putting some brads on here. So wait a second. I gotta think this through. I'm gonna put some brads right in the middle. So I don't want this magnet, you know, interrupting that. So I'm gonna stay away from my middle section a little bit. It doesn't matter, put it down here. And that way, when I close the book, it won't pop out. And you don't really need it on this side because this is the outer flap, so it stays put. Okay, so these pockets I would like to put magnets on. And I found that instead of putting in the middle for this particular setup, you don't want these curling up. So I'm going to put 2 on each end. I know it's a fair amount of magnets. But if you think you can get away with putting one in the middle, just make sure it lands on your pocket and not in the middle of the pocket in the page. It has to be on one surface or the other. But in this particular case, I am going to put 2 magnets. I'm going to finish up this one later. Because it's going to go on the outer side of this flap. Where's my beginning? Here it is. Okay. Yeah, so we got away with only 2 magnets on the other page, but this one looks like it's going to have a fair amount. All right, so what you do, if you don't have, yours don't come with sticky on them, you just put a piece of tape and then peel off the backing, and then you hold this down and just flip this over and press and press. Okay, and then you can put some tape down. Okay, so remember how we have that one there? Let's put the other one. Oops, wrong one. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over. All right, now the next, I'm gonna put 2 more here. I need another pack of magnets. All right. Sorry, this one's hard to get out. Okay. All right, I think this is it. Let me see. No, we have our flap. Okay, so here we go. And then we just have our top flap up here to do. Yeah, so this one had a fair amount going on. I'm going to just make this at an angle so I don't run into that other piece of tape. Okay, so now we got this flap. And what I'm going to do here is put 2 up here. It's going to be hard to put it in the middle because we have to put our design paper right there. So I'm going to put 2 right there instead. Okay. And we'll fold this down. And this page won't be going anywhere. It's held in there nice. So it looks really cool. It was something different. Okay, and now I will show you how I decorated page 2. Okay. So we made it, everyone. We did it. And now the fun part, the decorating.